everybody. Welcome to the Choir Directors Academy. Another Wednesday. Good to see ya. Thank you for tuning in on today. Hey, one of the best drummers in the whole world, Anthony Mickey Thomas. Thank you. Good evening. Hey, Tommy, Mississippi Mass choir member down there with my cousins. Good to see you. I think my sister's out there somewhere. I don't know where she at, but I think she out there somewhere. Hey, Michelle. Hey, oh, you on time this week, right? Well, it's true, Anthony. I remember. It's good to see all of you all out on tonight. There she is. There's my sister. No problem, sir. You know. It's good to be here on tonight, you all. Thank you for tuning in. We got a good show right before Easter, right? It's a good one. Thank you all for joining. Listen, like, and share this video. Tommy, yeah, this is the first time you was live, Tommy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm glad that you all join me. And again, I say like and share this video. This show won't be too long. At least I hope. You know how you all do. You get to talking on my show and you turn it into something way over there somewhere. I won't even see it. Let me see. What did you say? You said keep me posted if you're doing a live workshop. Cool beans. Yep, working on some stuff. I sure will. Listen, let's get into this. Let's do a recap first. Remember last week? We talked about vocal anatomy, right? As it relates to song selection. Register, which is the range of tones, the lowest to the highest. And then we had tessitura, which is a range of notes that we sing repetitively, like a melody, right? And then we have vocal agility is the ability to jump from a low note to a high note, or by pitch, or by whatever. Let me say, Karen Clark Shear, you can do like that. Derek Coley, if you can do that, you on point. And vocal phrasing, which is just us singing together. No whiplashing. Remember last week I talked about whiplashing, right? No whiplashing. Everybody is singing in sync at the proper rhythm, proper timing. All right. Everything is just kind of working together. So that's what we kind of talked about at a top level. I'm trying to keep the conversations at 35,000 feet in the air. Okay. And some of the reasons we came up with why you as a director should know this, even as a singer, even as whatever your responsibility is in the music department, it prevents further damage to the voice. As we talked last week, we don't really treat our voices right anyway. We don't really stay hydrated so that we won't be clearing our throats and all that kind of stuff. Making sure proper vocal sectioning, which means to make sure you're singing right. We went to a musical on Sunday. I'm not going to call her out. I told her I wasn't going to do that, but she's a well-known hostess of her show, and she sang. Now, anybody that ever heard Hallelujah that the Clark sisters sang, that's in B flat, and you need to be at least a soprano or a first alto to sing that. She's hiding in the alto section, but some of those notes she was hitting clearly indicated that she is a soprano, right? So you want to make sure. You may think, well, I'm a soprano, I can sing alto. No, actually, it will damage your voice a little bit because you're not singing in your normal range. You have to put an effort in. If you're a soprano, you have to put in an effort to sing alto because that's the lower women's voice, okay? Proper song selection, making sure you don't pick anything that's too that's out of the range of your choir, okay? That's what we kind of went over last week. So the lessons that we're doing are kind of flowing into one another, okay? So this week, we're talking about the key elements of a song that you as directors should consider. I'm not saying this is the full exhausted list. Neither am I saying what you're doing is wrong, okay? Because you know your choir better than I do. But I'm just saying this, there are some things that will enhance your choir or help when you're teaching them, okay? You don't want to waste your time teaching somebody something and then never achieve what you're expecting them to do, okay? one of the key elements to consider when selecting music for your choir. One thing you need to remember, the choir's performance is connected to their comfortability or the ease in which they can sing a song and the music. You don't want to pick something that's too difficult for them, that they get all stressed out and flustered. You don't want, everybody should sing with a little nervousness, okay? Even when you're public speaking, it's good to be nervous, right? But confidence is a whole nother thing, right? You don't want to be like just frantic, like you about to pass out. You don't want to be like that. But there's good to be a little nervous, because then you're not relying on yourself. You have to pray and you have to ask God to give you some, strength and give you courage to get up and do. I'm always nervous. Contrary to what it looked like, I'm nervous talking to you online. It's one thing for me to talk to you face to face in person, but to talk to you online, it's not really my forte. I don't care how I look. I just don't care if I make a mistake. I just correct it, right? All right, because I've gotten to that place, even when I'm directing the choir, if I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, okay? We'll fix it. We'll come up with something. Don't worry. All right? But, there's always a nervousness when I'm talking to people or singing or directing. There is. It's just normal, because I'm not relying on myself. I need the Lord to help me to do what he instructs me to do, right? But so that translates over to your choir. Starts with your confidence level when you're teaching, but also you want them to be able to stand before people, because remember, you don't see the people. They see the people. So you don't want them trying to sing something that they can't do, and they're already nervous, because you know how people, when you stand up to sing, if they don't know you, people can have some very determined looks. Let me put it that way. And they can invoke fear. You get really nervous, and the first note, you know how it is with us in church when you're sitting there, or a musical or something, if the first note comes out wrong, you pretty much tune them out, right? So you don't want to pick a song that is above their skill set. Neither do you want to pick something that doesn't convey a message. All right. So that's kind of where we're going this week. Okay. So the first thing you need to stop it. What she say? My sister's always messing with me. What she say? I don't want to say the wrong thing. All right. So the first thing you need to think about is the type of choir that you're over in this mission. And you may say, well, we're talking about church choirs. Well, everybody that watches the Choir Directors Academy is not from a church choir. There are actually some people who are show choirs, or the ones that you see on Broadway singing, community choirs, college choirs. There are some choirs that only focus on civil rights. They only sing songs that relate to civil rights. So we have all kinds of choirs, and you'd be surprised. Even I was surprised when I look at my demographics. I have a lot of people watching from the Arab countries, the Philippines, South Africa, Angola, Sudan, Ethiopia, China, Japan. I have them coming from all over the place. So it's not just, even though my focus is the church choir, but a lot of people from other reformations, from other countries, from other religions send in questions, because being a choir director is universal. You got the people who sing soprano, SATB, as they call it, soprano, altos, tenors, bass. You got musicians, you got a song. Music is a universal language. So a lot of the things that I share with you, they implemented in whatever religion or whatever genre, whatever they're singing, right? So you need to determine that when you're picking a song, why are you picking this song? Who are you picking it for? Definitely, if you're in a church choir and you have youth, you can't give them the same song that you would give the adult choir. We understand that. So it varies. So that's like your first thing. That's like the first thing I thought about, because I've sang in all types of choirs in my career, and being in competitions, all from grammar school all the way up through high school, college, even in the secular world, way out of college, right? I've been there, and they say, when you're just in a choral competition, you sing anything, they just sing, whatever is on their mind, whatever that director comes up with. So, but I learned from them when I'm in those things to how to hone the skill sets of the choir and do better, right? So that's the first thing I consider. Second thing is the venue. That's a big problem that I see, that I see a lot. Your venue is important. Sunday morning, musical, funeral, homegoing, banquets, weddings, rallies. You got to know your audience. Don't just pick the song willy-nilly. Oh, I like this song because it's got to be. But it may not be appropriate. What you sing at a musical is not something necessarily that you can sing on Sunday morning, right? People that, most time on Sunday morning, they want to hear a hand clap, foot stomp, or they want to hear some kind of uplifting, motivating song, right? So, and then I've seen people sing songs at a funeral or a music that should be, it's just cross. Musical, they sing at a funeral. I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff, right? So you want to know your audience. Now, one thing I will say, you may, when you go to some homegoings or funerals, you may hear a song that you sit there and you're like, that's not really appropriate. So let me throw this disclaimer in there. It depends on whose service it is. Sometimes the family may request songs that are not really in the circle of music that you normally sing at a homegoing or a funeral. You sing whatever they ask you to sing. They'll come to you. Generally, that makes it really easy for me. I just go to the family and say, what do you want to hear? And then they tell me, and, so it makes it easier. And then when people in the audience looking at me like, what are you singing? Well, this is what the family requested. All right. But you need to know your audience. Always, I talked to you all sometime last year. Always have a safe song list. You try not to sing those songs too much. And I'm sure if you really think about it, there are some songs that your choir sings extremely well. Those you should not sing all the time. You should save those for those times when you either have all of the weak singers, because there will be times when the strong people may not show up, and the weak people can sing songs that are fail-safe, like Joy, Abundantly. I think that's what it's called, the technical name of it, Abundantly by Ricky Dillard and New G. Joy. That song is usually a fail-safe. You usually get everybody singing. Even the weak people can sing that on their own. You should have a list on the side anyway of songs that are kind of like fail-safe. No matter when you sing them, where you sing them, is always a success. Always have that list with you and try not to sing those songs too much. So that when the time comes, you have something to work for, okay? Or work with, should I say. But you should know your audience. Always know your audience. Another thing, especially in a church choir, theology. I have noticed that a lot of times we sing songs and we do not fact check these songs. And, sometimes I see posts about this where we're actually singing a song that is not biblically correct. So then you know how people are. They don't read the Bible. They don't read. So they take the song thinking that you're singing it. And then what do? They go around and say, well, the Bible said, well, no, the Bible didn't say that. That's just a song. So you want to check the theology of a song, right? You want I was thinking lately, some of the hymns they've been fact checking and determining that some of them are not biblically correct. Is written out of someone's emotions. The songs that I have written, always make sure that they come from the Bible, that they are biblically sound, right? You don't want to be teaching anybody something that's not right. What did you say, Scylla? Right. Born into sin that I may live again. That's from Kirk Franklin's, I just forgot the name of the song. But I know what she's talking about. Lamb of God. When he gets to the part, born into sin that I may live again. No, Christ was not born into sin. He was born without sin, right? If he was born with sin, then he was just like us. But he was God and man, so he was born without sin. Some things we sing, we have to be careful. We have to make sure that we're singing the right things, all right? So Theology is very, very, very important. It is. I mean, a lot of times you don't want to just pick the song and just run. You want to make sure that song is theologically sound, because that is, unfortunately, people rest on music. They rest on it, and you don't want anyone running off getting the wrong idea, the wrong connotation because of what you're singing. Okay. And then a lot of times when we sing, I don't know if you remember this phrase, well, they always told us that if you read something, it's like saying it 11 times, and it gets in you quicker if you read it and then you say it, you read it out loud, it gets into you 11 times or something like that. Well, understanding that when we sing these songs, they become a part of us. Right? Because as you practice, your spirit is open and you're receiving the message of the song, and it becomes a part of you. And you want to make sure that whatever becomes a part of you is actually biblically based and it is correct. Okay. That's just another thought. Another part is just checking the level of difficulty. I can't tell you how many times I see choirs singing, and I'm kind of like, oh my God, why would you try? You hear another choir sing a song and it sounds great. I mean, it's like, woo, but you have to remember, if you got sopranos that can't stay in tune, if you got altos that don't know how to harmonize, they don't have that ear to harmonize, and you don't have any strong tenors, there are some songs you just cannot sing until you train them to be able to hold those tunes. So you need to keep it in mind when you hear a song, keep in mind the skill set of the choir and the musicians, okay? Also, you need to consider your environment, your church, what is appropriate. Some churches don't like upbeat music. They stick with the hymns. Check with your leader, your pastor. Make sure that what you're planning and what you're doing is okay. But like that, particular point, level of difficulty kind of goes back to the first part when I was telling you that you want them to sing a song that they're comfortable with. If your choir has never sang a cappella, don't try to practice 2 or 3 times with an a cappella song and then stand them in front of a crowd. It takes, let me tell you, it takes a lot to get to the point where you can sing a song a cappella. Because remember, you have no music. You're just giving pitches. And to train people to the point where they can hear the music even when there is no music, trying to get them to get an ear to hear. I mean, I know the Bible says he that hath an ear, let him hear. But that's also applicable in the school of music. And everyone does not have that ear, and you would need to train them. I've seen people do that. And I'm like, why would you even do that? Why would you even attempt that? Because I heard somebody else's choir sing. You have to learn that your choir is different from everybody else's. You can't do what everybody else is doing. Now, you can strive to get there. It may take you a minute or two to get there, but don't be discouraged, right? Don't be discouraged. First of all, make sure you're confident in your teaching, because you set the tone for the choir, all right? And I'm going to get you a comment in a second, Tommy. You set the tone for the choir. If you whiplash the song and just throw the song up in the air and it falls on the people, that's how the song is going to sound. But when you're teaching a song, I always tell directors, when you're teaching a song, you must know that song inside out. You got to know that song like the back of your hand, like you know your name. You have to be able to teach that song. First of all, if you want them to sing a song, everybody teaches in a different way. I suggest that, and it's based on my prior experience, and I got receipts, as they say. I got receipts for all of this. I say the best thing to do is almost like teach the choir, teach them the song a cappella, right? And that's good in the sense that you keep them from depending on the music. Because most of the time when we're teaching the song, we're dependent on the music to help us sing the song. So then the choir is always like, well, I need to hear the song before I sing. No, you should be able to sing that song, give pitches, and keep going, right? Remember, your church choir is a reflection of you. All right. It's a reflection of you. It's easy to be a director of a choir where everybody is a singer. It don't really take too much to do that. Because half of them, like some of these community choirs and things like that, half of these people are musicians or they've been trained, they've been singing for years. They already know. But to take a church choir where you have to work with who you have and train them, that's how I won all the competitions. I didn't win with people that could sing. Basically, the only people that could really sing in the choir was myself and my sister and my brother. Everybody else was like, they could hold a tune, but they really, to sing without music, they couldn't do it. Right. So it took time. But when I taught them, I made sure that I knew that song in and out, which means I probably listened to that song at least 25 times in a row. And some people may say that's excessive. Why you got to do all of that? I did it because when I'm teaching, not only am I teaching you the note, I'm teaching you the rhythm, I'm teaching you vocal phrasing, I'm teaching you all of that, but I'm teaching you confidently. The choir would grab my confidence because I'm teaching you. This is a note. If it's not right, you're going to keep singing it until you get it right. And so then they're like, oh my God. And I am kind of whatever, but I believe in excellence. I don't want this mishmash stuff. If you can't do it right, then maybe you need to find another department. This is how it needs to be sung, because when you're standing there and I give pitches, I want to hear one soprano, one alto, and one tenor. So if you know the song inside and out, it'll be better for the people. Let me get to these comments. Tommy says, so true. Just like get right church and let's go home. The back train and get your load. We don't sing that because it's not true. If you miss that call, you miss it. He ain't turning around for left. Come on. That's exactly right. Stephanie, so true. Everybody's ear is not hearing. It's not at all. Oh, Mama Charlie. She says, I love you so much. Thank you for gracing us with your prayer. Oh, I love you too. I love you. That's Mama Charlie Smith. Yay. Thank you. Okay. Michelle says, me too. And they give it. Come on. Well, who else is going to tell them that they're wrong? I'm like that. I'm like, get it right. This is not the note. I know that's what you think you heard, but what you heard is not what I meant. Get the note. Come on. I'm not expecting, I'm not, like when I have a mass choir, when I have the church thing, I tell them I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for participation. That's different. But when we're in the choir, I'm looking for excellence, participation, and perfection. Because, one thing I've noticed is whatever you give out is you're only going to get about 80% of that. So me as a directress, I need to give like 200% in order for me to get at least 90 out of the people. They grab to your enthusiasm, right? They do. Hey, Shanita, my cousin, glad to see you doing well. Good to see you. They grab to your enthusiasm. Remember that. They grab to your enthusiasm. Not the pastor, not the drummer, not the musicians, nobody else, but who? You. So when you're teaching, you stand there and you're confident in what you're doing. You're speaking properly. You're teaching properly. You know the notes. You can tell, some of us, I know we're not as musically inclined as we would like to be. So, if you're a musician and you're also a choir director, then you can kind of tell them what chords to play, what key you're in, and things like that. But even if you don't know how to play an instrument, just knowing the key that the song is in would make the whole thing better. Okay. But when you're teaching, you make sure that you know that song. Like I said, I listened to it maybe about 25 times. And if I'm listening to something like Richard Smallwood with all of the chord structures and everything he got in there, we might make it 50 times to the point that I can just go in and out. I can go from soprano down to tenor, back up to alto. I can just switch between, because you know why? When I'm teaching and when I start the choir back up in my local church, I will start showing you all my rehearsals and you will see what I'm talking about. I may have all three voices singing, but at any given time, whoever gets out, if it's a soprano, I can sing that note. And then at the tenor drop, I go down there and get them back in. You need to be agile. You need to be agile when you're teaching, because at any point in time, somebody could drop and you need to be there to catch them and tell them, no, that's not it. Or stop. That's not it. You know, you want to be confident. And it may seem like you're being mean, but you're not. What you're doing is you're developing a spirit of excellence in them, and you're developing confidence in them, right? That where they rest on what you give them, right? That's what you want. You want them to rest. You know, not that you're Jesus or Jesus Jr., but like with Peter, he told him to step out on the water. Peter rested on his words, and he was able to walk on water. I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying you Jesus or Jesus Jr., but your confidence level, your confidence is there. That when I say this is your note, they can rest on that, and they'll hear it and they'll get used. It's like my sheep know my voice. They get to learn your voice. They get to learn your ways. So when I just give pitches, da, 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 they rest. They know that's their starting point. They don't even worry about it. They just know that's where I start, because she's going to make sure that I look good. She's going to make the play. You know, it's like the quarterback in the field. Okay, we discussed the play on the sideline, but I want you all to move on 3. Okay, we're going to do play 97 on 3. You see him, you know, he's calling it, and then they all run and, go to the play, whether they're doing a right flank or a left flank, or he's coming up the middle. Doesn't matter. You want them to rest on you in confidence, okay? Shanita, come on. And my sister said, oh, Lord, because she knows. She in the choir with me. She know. And even though right now I'm singing with my sister and my niece, and we had a rehearsal last night, I was kind of like, that's not the note. Wait, and they were kind of, okay. My sister is also a good teacher. She doesn't like to. She plays incognito, but she's a good teacher as well. She don't like to get out there. But I'm trying to tell you all, make sure you keep in mind the skill set of the choir and the musicians, right? Most of the time we have fantastic musicians, but, the choir may be like, spend the time to teach. I know you're tired. I know you're tired and it's hard, but spend the time teaching the weak links, because they're the most faithful people ever. All right. They're always going to show up. They're always going to be there. Right. So take the time to teach the weak links. You'll be glad you did. I'm telling you, I was glad I did, because some Sundays the strong ones had to go to work. Then what am I stuck with? And you scrambling, trying to find something to sing. And that's why I tell you, have that list on the side. The fail-safes, that even the weak ones can sing and do well. All right. So you want to do that. And that was just the 4 things that I had. Just consider the type of choir you got. Consider the venue that you're singing on, what's appropriate. This Sunday is coming up. Easter, make sure your songs are appropriate for Easter. And it depends on your church and what your pastor is expecting. Also, when you're doing communion, be considerate of what you're singing. It depends, it really depends on your venue and what is expected of you. Keep that in mind when you're selecting a song. Also, the theology. You want to be concerned with the theology of a song. Oh, President Naaman Williams, pastor of 2 churches, and my brother, music president for Northern Illinois. Good to see you. You also want to make sure the theology is right. As everybody's already indicated, you don't want to sing anything that's not appropriate. All right. We don't want to teach people wrong, because remember, you got to remember, you as a choir director, you are a leader. Just in case you forget, you are a leader in the church. When they go out, when they call the pastor, who does he call on next? The choir. So the choir director, which is why a lot of people want to be a choir director. But if you're really doing the job right, some of these times you want to sit in the back and hide, because it's just like, let me just relax and be free, right? Let me just relax. But remember, you are a leader in the church. So you need to know the words. You need to read the Bible. You need to know how to pray. You need to know how to do these things, okay? You do. You really need to know how to do these things, because you are a leader and you don't want to lead people astray. And I think a lot of people, if they really understand the severity of their role, they would be a little more, how would I put this? You'd be a little more conscientious about how you do things and how you go about things, right? And then finally, the level of difficulty, as I already stated, you want to make sure that you pick something that is easy, you know, especially if you plan on singing on Sunday and you just taught it to them on Friday night or Saturday night choir rehearsal, then you need to be getting something with a beat, you know, like that they can clap and is, you know, is easy to go with. When the choir only got one line and they singing that through the whole song, that is about something you want to do. Don't pick something that's complex and expect them to do it tomorrow, depending on who you got. All right. Always keep that in mind. The skill set. I can't stress that enough. And I know I'm repeating myself, but that means so much to me because I see so many choirs with potential. And I'm just sitting there like, why you do that to them people? And you see that, you know, because they steady singing. And like I say, they're facing the audience, right? So they're steady singing and they're looking at people's faces, you know, making all these faces, and you're telling them to sing, and they get, you know, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. So you have to have their attention where they're confident in you, and they won't even see the audience. They won't see them. They'll be focused on you. All right. And that's what we want to do. I love you too, sir. Thank you. Thank you, cousin. I'm glad to see you out there. What do you say? Amen. Teach my, am I a mother now? Woo! Tommy. But it's true. All right. Listen, that's all I got for you tonight. I told you I wasn't going to keep you long. But that's just a little thing. I could have went longer. I had like maybe 10 things I could have talked about, but I don't want to take your ideas. And again, I'm not telling you that the way you're doing it is wrong. That is not what I'm saying. These are just things that, you know, I took in consideration when I was singing in you know, a United Center, at the stadiums and things like that. I took these things in consideration when I would go out and sing with the choir. Even when they requested that we sing a cappella, I would always pick a song that they were very, very comfortable with. Okay. Very comfortable with, that I know even if they sleep, I would drill my choir. So even if they sleep, it would be like, oh, you know, like, no, because if you can sing it when you sleep, then I know you know it. All right. Listen, I love you all. I want you to be reminded, though, put this in your notes. The next class will be April 10th. We will not have a class next week, but we will have one on April 10th. That will be the next class, okay? And it'll be a good one. It'll be a good one, okay? All right. Thanks, Scylla. Hey, Rachel. Good to see you. You're welcome. You are so welcome. You're welcome. Thanks, Shanita. Thanks for hanging out, cousin. Thank you all so very much. Listen, like and share this video. I want you all to have a great night. Happy Easter. Have a good weekend. Some of you are off on Good Friday. Enjoy your day off, all right? Because I'm going to enjoy mine. I just found out I had it off. So I'm glad to know that. All right. So you all have a good weekend. I love all y'all. I really, really do. Not with the love of Jesus, because I don't think I'm going to die on the cross for you. But I do love I do love all of you all, and thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank y'all. Peace.